Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chef Pam and this is Chef and More. And today we are going to be making classic chicken and dumplings. Yes, this is the dish that got me started cooking at age 5 and I've been cooking ever since. And if you want to learn how to make all kind of homemade food and dishes, the easy and simple way, subscribe so that you won't miss any of my videos, and tap that bell so you'll always be notified. We're going to get started right now. Okay, so we have our chicken that's been washed and is ready to be cooked. This is 4 chicken leg quarters where the thigh and the leg is still connected. I find that with chicken and dumplings, the dark meat works best. So this is what we'll be using today. I'm going to just get my hands washed up right now. Then we're going to go ahead and get our onions and seasonings in the pot. Okay, so I have about a half a cup of chopped onions that we're going to put in. And then next, we're going to put in some salt. Now I'm using Himalayan salt today. You don't need nearly as much salt when you're using Himalayan salt as you do sea salt or regular salt. The one thing about making chicken and dumplings that I always tell the story was I asked my aunt, how did you season the dumplings? And she told me you don't season the dumplings, the juice will. And I found out over the years that you have to add quite a bit of seasoning. So that was onion and garlic powder, sea salt. Okay, now I'm going to fill the pot up with water. Then we're going to go ahead over to the stove and get our chicken boiled. We're going to let it cook on the stove on high, let it boil for about an hour or until it's cooked and all juices run clear. Okay. So our chicken has been cooking for about an hour. It is done now. So we're going to take it out. I'm going to put the legs in this bowl. And from there, we're going to take the skin off, remove the bones, and then just kind of shred it a little bit. Okay, guys, looking good, smelling good. Yes. Okay. Alright, so now we have all of our chicken out of the pot and we're going to leave the pot boiling because as we take the chicken off the bone, we're going to put it back in the pot and continue to just let it cook while we make our dumplings. Okay, because you don't want your pot to cool down to have to bring it back up to a boil, so just let it continue to boil. There's plenty of water in there and it'll be just fine. So I'm just pulling the skin off of the chicken and taking it completely off. We don't need that, so it'll be discarded. And then there's only a few bones in the thighs and legs, so we pull the chicken off and then just lift the bone up out of there and discard it as well. After that, we just want to go ahead and just kind of separate the chicken a little bit. You don't want it shredded too fine. You still like to have nice pieces, but you do need it to be shredded. Then after that, we're going to put it back into the pot of boiling water. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Yes. So let's just go ahead now and take this part of the chicken that we just shredded and gently put it back into the pot. You don't want to put it in too forcefully or the water will splatter. So just put it back into the pot. And from here, we're going to continue shredding the rest of our chicken. Okay, so we've got it all shredded just about. This is the last piece. So I'm going to take the juice that came off the chicken while it was just sitting while I was shredding it and put it back into the pot. No need to waste it. It's still good. All right, discard this skin and get this piece all shredded up as well. Okay, all done shredding. Let's get this in the pot. And next, guys, we're going to go ahead and make our homemade dumplings. All right, we are ready for our dumplings. My pot is still boiling. You want to keep that pot boiling at all times. My dumplings are simply flour, egg, and water. So I'm taking just one egg and I'm going to lightly beaten it. Then we're going to mix it in with about a cup of just self-rising flour that I have over here in the bowl already. Okay, so now we're just pour it in and we're going to take a spoon and just mix the egg in with the flour until it resembles coarse crumbs. Okay, set that aside. Just take your spoon and gently fold it in. You don't want to stir it too much. You want to fold it in. The more you work with any type of dough, the tougher it becomes. So you want to be gentle and just fold the flour in until it's all combined with the egg. After we have this all combined, the egg is fully combined with the flour. As you can see, it's mixing in quite well. We're going to be adding water to it. Now I have a cup of water over here, but we're really only probably going to use about 5 or 6 tablespoons. You just want to put a little bit, just a little bit in at a time, guys, maybe a spoonful or so in. And if you need to use a spoon to measure it, please do so. Okay, but I've been making these for so very many years, so I can just eyeball it and pour it in. But again, do it a little bit at a time because you can't get it out. At the end, you want your dough to be sticky to the touch. You'll see how it sticks to my fingers in the end, trying to get it off the spoon, and that's what you want. When we get ready to roll our dough out, we're going to be using a lot of flour. For this particular dumpling, you want the excess flour because it's going to thicken your broth for your chicken and dumplings. Okay, see how nice and sticky that is? All right, so now I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter into my broth. It's just going to give the broth a nice richness. Give that a quick stir. Make sure it goes ahead and gets good and melted. Okay, my pot is still boiling over here. You want to keep it boiling. As we make our dumplings, first of all, we're going to put quite a bit amount of flour on our surface. We need to incorporate the flour and knead the dough into it, and we want the extra flour. For once, you don't want to shake it off. You want the extra flour onto the dough because that is what's going to thicken the pot of broth that we have over here. Okay, so just go ahead, guys. We're going to knead this probably, I don't know, I don't count. I guess maybe about 10 or 12 times, just a minute or so. You don't need to knead it that much because you have a lot of flour. You just want it to turn into a soft dough. Then, after we have the soft dough ball, we're going to break the dough ball off into small pieces because we're going to roll it out very thin. So I just put some flour over to the side just to sit my extra dough onto it so that it won't stick to my countertop. Okay, so now I'm taking my rolling pin and I'm just simply rolling the dough out. I'm going to flip it over, making sure it's coated again with plenty of flour. We are actually rolling this dough out, guys, to paper thin. It is really thin. Remember, we are using self-rising flour, so the dumpling will thicken back up once it hits the hot broth. So you want to roll this out almost to the point that when you pick it up, you can see through it. Very, very thin. Okay, guys, I think that's just about it. Now I have a pizza cutter. I'm just going to cut it into strips, and then I'm going to cut the strips into thirds. That's going to give me about an inch in diameter and about 2 inches in length for each dumpling. It doesn't have to be exact. Then you want to pick them up. See how nice and thin that is? And you need to drop them in the pot one by one. Do not drop them all in at the time, just one by one. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. Just make sure you're dumping them in one by one. This way they will not clump together and they will be separated into individual pieces when they are done cooking. Okay, so I'm just going to get the rest of these into the pot. Okay, so after you get all the dumplings in from the first set that you just made, stir it. Make sure they're all covered under the broth. Okay, we're adding more flour and we're going to pinch off another piece until we make all of our dumplings, guys. Now this is the last batch. I've made all the rest and they're in the pot. Remember, after you put each set in, stir the pot again. Okay, let's get this last piece rolled out and cut. Okay, we've got all of our dough rolled out and all of our dumplings made. We're just putting the last ones into the pot. Then guys, we're going to give it another stir. And after that, we are going to put a top on it and remove it from the heat. If you have a gas stove, you can simply turn the stove off. If you have an electric stove like I do, once you cover it, remove it from that eye, sit it on a back eye or another eye so that it will not continue to cook. We let it sit with the top on it, guys, for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes and our dumplings are done. The steam and heat cooks the dumplings and that's it, guys. Yes. Okay, time to plate up. I have some peas here. I never cook my peas. These are frozen peas. The heat from the dumplings will cook the peas and they won't be mushy. They'll be nice and tender and crisp. Okay, guys, this looks so good. Yum. Okay, now I'm just going to sprinkle my peas on the top. And guess what, guys? We are all done. This is my version of chicken and dumplings. And this is the dish that got me started cooking at age 5. And I am so glad that I did. Yes. Okay, take a look at that, guys. Yummy. Awesome sauce. Okay guys, there you have it. I sprinkled a little black pepper on the top and I'm going to dig in. This is my classic version of chicken and dumplings. And if you like these how-to videos, consider supporting me over on Patreon. I have the link in the description as well as right here. And check out my merchandise. I have plenty of yes merchandise, and here's the link to that too. I just want to thank each and every one of you all for coming out, hanging out, and cooking with me today. I really do appreciate each and every one of you all. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you'll always be notified. Leave me some comments. Tell me if you like chicken dumplings And if you're going to try these, give me a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.